and today I'll show you how to play All the Small Things by Blink-182. Now this song is perfect for beginners, it really is, because it's so straightforward but so fun to play. So let's get started. Alright, so let's start with the intro, and this is how it sounds. So you can see it's one phrase that we're playing twice, and it's really straightforward in terms of what we're doing. All we're doing is moving a power chord shape sort of around this lower part of the fretboard. Now, if you've not come across power chords before, they're really helpful to know about. They make up the basis of a lot of sort of rock and alternative music. So this song's a really good one to learn to really get that shape down. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our finger on the 3rd fret of the 6th string. We're going to put our other finger on the 5th fret of the 5th string, and our other finger on the 5th fret of the 4th string. And this is the basis of a power chord shape. So we're going to go. So playing that shape and then just moving it down to the 1st fret. So we're going 1st fret of the bottom string, 3rd fret of the 5th string, 3rd fret of the 4th string. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take that shape and we're going to go to the 3rd fret of the 5th string. So 3rd fret of the 5th string, 5th fret of the 4th, and then 5th fret of the 3rd. We're going to play that 8 times. And you can see that I'm using all downstrokes, and the guitarist of Blink-182, Tom DeLonge, does that. Now, I think that gives it a lot of power because you're hitting these lower notes first instead of these sort of higher strings, so it helps drive the guitar sound, I think. Now we're going to play a power chord on the strings below, and it's exactly the same thing, but it's a slightly different shape. So what we've got is the 3rd fret of the 4th string, the 5th fret of the 3rd string, and the 6th fret of the 2nd string. So you might be expecting it to be the 5th fret of the 2nd string to keep that shape, but it's actually the 6th fret. And that's just because the 2nd string is tuned slightly differently compared to the other strings. But as I said, it's exactly the same thing. So we're doing that 8 times. Again, downstrokes where you can. And then we're going to go back to that first chord that we had. So back to the bottom string and a power chord on the 3rd fret. And that's played 10 times. After that, what we're going to do is we're actually going to 2 open strings. So we're going to play 2 open strings, the 5th string and the 4th string. Now, what we're doing here is we're doing a technique called palm muting. Now, this is where you use the sort of outside, this bit of your hand, just resting it where the strings come over the bridge on your guitar. So just where they start to meet the proper body of your guitar. And it gives you this dull, sort of thuddy sound. Otherwise we'd have, which doesn't sound great. So we're going, and we're finishing that off by playing a power chord on the 1st fret of the 6th string. So I'll play the whole thing slowly for you. It goes like this. And then it just loops back round. So now we have the verse, and this is really straightforward. All we're playing is and then looping it several times. So what we're doing here is, you can probably hear, I'm using that palm muting technique that we learned at the beginning all the way throughout this. So my hand is just resting against the bridge there, all the way through. So that's a technique that you'll want to get down, just resting your hand there throughout all of this. In terms of what we're playing power chords again, but instead of using that bottom finger, we're removing that from the fretboard and we're just playing 2-note power chords. So we'll start with the 5th string, 3rd fret, and then the 4th string, 5th fret. So that's what we're playing. Then we're moving that shape to just up these strings or upwards to the 3rd fret of the 6th string and then the 5th fret of the 5th string. Now what I like to do before we move it down, so we'll be moving it down to here, is I like to play an open string, an open top string. And I think that's what they're doing in the song as well from what I can hear. So I'll play it slower so you can see it. So just hitting that bottom string, I think it just, I don't know, opens up the sound a little bit more. So far we've got this. Then we're doing that little open string and moving down to the 1st fret. So 1st fret of the 6th string, 3rd fret of the 5th. Then after that, little open string and then moving back to the 3rd fret of the top string and then 5th of the 5th. So all together that gives us this, and I'll play it slower than I did before. And then I like to finish that with an open string again, just that muted open string. It's just a passing note really. And then looping again, so starting that whole phrase again. So to end this, we're actually ending it at the pre-chorus, and this is really, really easy. All we're doing is we're playing a full power chord, so all those 3 fingers, on the 3rd fret of the 5th string, like this. We're just letting it ring out. That's all it is on the pre-chorus. So the verse ends. And then just doing a big strum and letting it ring out. That takes us into the chorus, which is just this. So a lot simpler than anything we've played so far. We're not having to change power chord shapes like we did there. We're not using any palm muting or anything like that. All we're doing is these straightforward power chord shapes. So we're starting on the 5th string, 3rd fret. That power chord shape. And then we're moving that to the 3rd fret of the top string. And then we're going to the 1st fret of the top string. So all together that sounds like this. And then we're just cycling through, just looping straight back into. So very, very straightforward. But the chorus does end with a little instrumental bit that goes like this. So we're playing that twice. Again, this isn't too difficult. All we're doing is, if we take that power chord shape, we're on the 3rd fret of the 5th string, so this shape. Now, if you remove the finger that's in the middle, that will give you this. So we've got 3rd fret of the 5th string, and then the 5th fret of the 3rd string. Now, without getting too technical, this is called an octave. These two notes are exactly the same. This one is just an octave higher than this one. So all we're doing is we're going to take this shape and then move it around the fretboard a little bit. So starting at the 3rd fret, and then sliding the shape up to, it's the 8th fret. Now, the key with this is not hitting any other strings by accident. You just want these 2 strings. So what I'm doing is I'm muting the string that's in the middle of these 2 by lightly resting my sort of index finger on it. So it's not actually fretting the note, but I'm still able to get that nice clean sound. So we're going. So from the 8th fret down to the 7th, and then to the 5th fret. So this is all on the same string, exactly the same position, we're just moving it up and down. Then what we're doing is we're doing that trick that we did in the intro. These 2 open strings, the 5th and the 4th, but we're palm muting them. So and then we're finishing it off by going to a power chord on the 1st fret of the 6th string. So altogether that sounds like this. And we're playing it twice. And then after that, you're straight back into another verse. So straight back into playing that verse. So after the second chorus, we've got this little instrumental breakdown, and it goes like this. So the chorus finishes by holding on this note, and then what we're doing is and then just looping that. And it's really straightforward. All we're doing is we're playing the 3rd fret of the 5th string and the 5th fret of the 4th string. But we're doing that palm muting technique, so using the outside of our hand and just resting it against the bridge. And then just alternating between them. Then what we're doing is we're just moving this finger down from the 3rd fret to the 2nd fret, but we're leaving this finger where it is. So we get so a little bit of a stretch, can be a little bit tricky. But that's all there is to this one. What I will say is that there's multiple guitar parts on this one. I think there's 2 guitar parts. One of them's playing the chords underneath that goes. So that's why you might hear that on the intro, but all you have to do is just hold that chord shape until that part comes in. So the final part of this song that's different is the last chorus, and for the most part it's the same, But what we're doing is we're adding in these little muted top strings, but being more obvious with it. So instead of just a passing note that we had before, it's now accented. So I'll play it for you now. It goes like this. And then on the last one. So you can see how it's different, but very, very similar to the choruses that we've been playing. So all we're doing is playing the chorus as normal. Power chord on the 3rd fret of the 5th string. 3rd fret of the top string. And then we're going. So just palm muting this top string. And we're doing that twice. We're going. So open twice, power chord on the 1st fret of the top string, and then open string, palm muted twice, followed by that chord again. So altogether that gives us and for the very final time of the chorus, we're doing that, but just adding on a couple of extra ones of those. So it sounds like this. And then finishing it off, the whole song, with a power chord on the 3rd fret of the 5th string. And that's it. As I said, a very, very straightforward song to learn, as it is just power chords sort of moving around, but really good in that it gets you used to the power chords, it gets you used to sort of moving the shape around, and also introduces you to techniques like palm muting. And also this sort of rhythm that's just the right hand downwards all the time is sort of a fun exercise to try out. So I hope you had fun learning the song. It's a really fun song to play, really short as well, so you can just keep practicing, just keep going through it. It is really good. And subscribe for more guitar lessons. Thank you.